In this video, I'm going to teach you how to rewire your mindset using the locus rule, and by rewiring your brain, you'll be far more likely to achieve higher grades in your next exam. It may just be the most important video I've made on this channel. And you've probably heard the quote, "With great power comes great responsibility." Well, the flip side to that is that with great responsibility comes great power. And if we learn how to harness and implement this concept into our lives, it's extremely powerful. So first, let me explain what happened in the locus rule experiment, and then you'll understand what I'm talking about. In 1998 at Columbia University, a study was carried out on a large group of 10 and 11-year-olds. The students were asked to work out a series of challenging puzzles by themselves. After they had all finished, each student was individually told that they performed extremely well, and that they managed to solve more puzzles than the other students. Shortly after that, 50% of the students were told that they solved more puzzles than the other students because they worked hard and they never gave up. They just kept trying. That's what they were told. The other group, the other 50% of the students, were told that they solved more puzzles as a result of them being naturally talented at solving puzzles. And in the final stage of the experiment, the students were given a choice of 3 sets of puzzles. The first set were easy puzzles, the second set were at medium difficulty, and the third set were difficult puzzles. And it turns out that the students that were told that they were naturally talented, those students chose to solve the easy puzzles the majority of the time. They also overall spent far less time working on solving the puzzles, showing a lack of motivation and incentive. Furthermore, when they were asked whether they had fun solving the puzzles, they replied that it wasn't that fun for them. On the other hand, the students that were told that they did well solving the puzzles because of the hard work and effort that they put in, those students were far more likely to choose the puzzles that were more difficult and challenging. And they also spent far longer trying to solve the puzzles compared with the group that were told that they were naturally talented, suggesting that they were more motivated. And finally, when they were asked whether they had fun solving the puzzles, they replied that they enjoyed the puzzle solving. And this experiment, conducted by Professor Claudia Muller, perfectly illustrates the locus of control, which is a concept that measures to what degree you believe you have control over your life. The students that were told they were naturally talented believed that they performed well solving the puzzle because of factors outside of their control, and that external factor being their natural talent. And this concept is called external locus of control. On the other hand, students that were told that they performed well as a result of their work ethic and the effort that they put into their puzzle solving, those students believed that it was the factors that they were in control of that led to the outcome. This is called having an internal locus of control. There have been multiple studies on the locus of control that all point to the same direction. Having an internal locus of control and realizing that there is a correlation between how much effort you put into your studying and the grade you achieve in your exams. The students that feel like they have control over their life and that they are responsible for the things that happen to them are often the students that achieve the highest grades. And it took me a while to realize this, so I adopted an external locus of control for most of my life. Back in high school, my grades were average at best, but I didn't even try to get better grades because I didn't think that I was smart enough or clever enough. I didn't think that I was capable of achieving among the top 5% in the class. I felt like nothing I did really mattered, so I didn't even try. And that's the problem with having an external locus of control. What's the point of studying if you're not clever enough to get high grades? What's the point of trying to apply for the highest ranked university if they only accept 5% of candidates? What's the point of trying to earn more money if the whole economic system is rigged against you? I realize now how problematic having that mindset really was. Eventually, I did manage to adopt an internal locus of control and rewire my mindset and realize that the results that I was getting at high school were a direct result of the effort I was putting into my studying. And once I realized that, once I deeply understood that on a visceral level, that's when my life started to make a complete transformation. When I started university, my grades improved exponentially and so many more opportunities opened up because I was putting more effort into my studying and into other areas of my life too. So how exactly do you adopt an internal locus of control? One of the most effective ways is to realize that every time you solve a problem in your own life, it was you that solved that problem. The actions that you took solved that problem. So let me give you an example. Let's say your grades are not where you want them to be. You can do one of two things. You can adopt an external locus of control and blame your professor, or blame your parents, or your financial position, or the fact that you didn't have enough time to study for it. Or you can adopt an internal locus of control and take an approach where you take accountability for your exam grades and realize that it wasn't that you just didn't have enough time, but it's because you didn't manage your time well and you didn't prioritize your studying. And it's not because your lecturer didn't teach you the material well enough, but it's because you didn't do enough background reading and independent studying to understand the material. And having this mindset where whatever you're not happy with in your life, whether it's your grades, your financial position, your relationships, you can do something about it. You can fix those problems. Blaming the government or the economy or pretty much any external factor, it's not going to fix your problems. But if you make yourself accountable and take extraordinary action in your life, that's when you're able to turn things around. And you look back at your studying, what grades you're getting. If you're really honest with yourself, what did you do that you could have done better? Could you have started studying for your exam sooner? Could you have procrastinated less? Could you have improved your diet? Because it's answering these questions and then taking action to improve them that will get you your A+ in your next exam. And let me know in the comments, what could you be doing better? What could you improve on? Where if you fix that one thing, it would have the biggest impact on your grades. Let me know in the comments. I'm interested to see what you guys are having problems with. Now, after saying all that, there comes a point where you can adopt such an internal locus of control that it actually becomes damaging and has a negative effect on your life. Someone with too much internal locus of control can often experience overwhelming anxiety as they keep blaming themselves and fixating on the things that they've done wrong. The perspective of having complete control or ownership in a situation is often a fallacy and can lead to the same level of suffering as the person that has an extremely external mindset. So it's important to reach the right balance around the locus of control. It shouldn't be an extreme value at either side. It's important to understand when you're genuinely a victim and embracing when you have made a mistake and need to take responsibility. So, for example, if you're driving home and a deer runs out in front of you with no warning, you weren't speeding, you were driving to the conditions of the road, and you took every sensible precaution not to hit that deer, but you still hit it. There's not much you could have done to avoid it in that situation. And someone with too much internal locus of control might blame themselves and feel extreme sadness and regret. But someone with the right balance of locus of control will realize that some things are out of their control, and the best they can do is react in a way that limits further damage. So the first step to taking back control of your exam grades or any other situation in your life is all about knowing what you want in life so that you can focus on the most important things that will help you move closer to your goals. So for example, if your goal in life is to become a successful doctor, then you need very good exam grades, which will probably mean studying harder or studying smarter. In the book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, there's a concept known as the circle of concern, which has all the things that you are worried about inside it. However, you can't control them. Now, inside that circle is a smaller circle known as your circle of influence, and this is where proactive people spend their time. So try splitting your problems, goals, or concerns into things that you can control and things that you can't control. Then only focus on the things that you can control. So some of the things that can genuinely be out of your control is the weather, other people to some extent because you can often remove negative people from your life, and some circumstances such as when your flight is delayed or cancelled. And some things that you can control, and these are really important, your actions, your attitude, and how you react to situations. As Charles Swindoll is quoted as saying, life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react to it. Earlier in the video, I mentioned how at high school I really did struggle. A couple of weeks ago, I uploaded a video on how I was able to turn my grades around from getting D grades at high school to getting A grades at university. You can click on the video on the screen to watch it. It was a long journey and I made a lot of mistakes, but I learned a lot on the way too. But there were some very fundamental changes that I made, and I explain it all in the video, that helped me make that transformation. And if you like this video, I think you're gonna love this one, so I'll see you over there.